Yeah, I feel like this may be the first time I've ever spoken on camera.
Is it?
I'm just more of like an elusive figure. I like to kind of be behind the scenes and like
Elusive Nick?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I kind of like like to keep people guessing and like wondering what is my next move and like,
yeah, that's fair. That's a good. You're pretty good at that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So holding the microphone is like step 2. Big Nick 2.0.
We could have some like studio tape down here. We could just, if we really don't want to think about it, we have our hands totally free to do whatever we want.
Yeah, that is true.
Where are we, by the way? We could be in the Sahara Desert. We could be under the sea. We don't know right now. We could be in outer space.
This is the closest to like actual studio we've ever done this in because normally we're in the green room with a kitchen like right next door. Right, chopping up. Yeah. They're chopping onions and stuff.
Yeah, the most excitement we'll see down here is maybe some cats scurry by at one point or another. You never know.
How long have you had cats?
Claire and I got them. Loki, our first cat, 2017, the first year we got married.
Did you have cats before that? Like
growing up, my parents had cats. Yeah, but the first cat, Sweet Pea. I was like, it's kind of like not cool. Like there's videos of me as like a baby. Like my parents thought it was so hilarious that I would like traumatize this cat. Like I would scare the cat. I had a bunk bed. I would throw it off the bunk bed. And it's like this behavior I don't think should have been encouraged. Like it was just like funny thing. Like look at Nicholas torturing the cat. And it's like
so funny.
I feel very guilty about it. And so that cat hated me my whole life. And I didn't have, any kind of...
So no, like, snuggle relationship with that cat.
I had a great relationship with my older brother, but I had no good relationship with that cat. Then we got another cat when I was like like after Jakey was born. He was like a baby. It's called Hobbs. It was an outdoor cat. And I think he got eaten by coyotes or something.
Oh, yeah.
This could have been one of the times our paths crossed and we didn't realize is it got out and it climbed up the tallest tree in our neighborhood. And we had to call the fire department.
You guys had to call the fire department?
Yeah. And it had like white legs and one of its back legs was like permanently stained yellow with sap from
the tree.
From the tree, yeah.
Did they actually get it out?
They did. They got it out. Yeah.
Nice.
And I don't know if it's just because I was a little kid, but it was like it felt like it was like 200 feet up in the air. Like it was so high. Like I was like, this cat is never like we were like rubbing
goodbye to the cat.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is game over.
Yeah. The common response I always heard from the old fire captains, because when you first come in, you're like, do we actually do that? A real thing or It was like, there's no cat skeletons in trees.
They figured out.
They just come down.
So you guys don't take that call very often.
It actually is rare.
Okay, we had the whole fire department out there, man. I mean, not the whole fire department, but a big giant fire truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times if you have new apparatus operators or people who are newer on the trucks, they have to do certain hours of training regardless.
Send those guys out.
So it's like, hey, we got to set this. You got to do 4 hours of setting this truck up anyway. Let's go ahead and set this thing up.
Okay.
This is a challenging situation. You have wires, so it's like a kind of a low risk, real life situation where you can.
Right.
You're still helping the public, but you're training for that incident where you have to set that thing up in 90 seconds because there's somebody on the 4th floor who needs getting pulled out.
You know what would be interesting that I just realized is instead of talking about the tour, I kind of just want to ask you questions about the fire department.
Yeah.
And maybe you can link up with your old firehouse buddies, and this could be like, we have 2 podcasts. We could have we
got the fire department and the tour podcast.
You could have maybe a new source of income. That could be like, I don't know, they might be into that. I feel like everyone's trying to find content,
Yeah. There's definitely, I could definitely aim at fire, like fire personnel and be like, but they have, they're just like, it's just like musicians, man. They have like their influencers are like, they're like, how to tie these knots. What's the best tool, a Halligan or how do you open a window?
And are they wearing a shirt?
Always wearing a shirt, and it's always a shirt you can buy.
Right.
I'm really bad at making money doing any of this stuff. It's just for fun. It just seems to be having it for fun.
Yeah, you kind of have to do it on accident, is what I found. Anytime you really get focused and you're like, I'm going to make this a thing, it's kind of other people have another idea.
On those, like on your videos, how often does that happen where you're like, the thing you put a lot of time and effort into becomes or just doesn't get the response you were expecting, and then the thing that you don't even care about, or you're like, this is a B-roll I've had for 3 months. I just need to post something.
Yeah, almost always, man. Like it's crazy. I mean, there have been times where I was just like so sure and certain that something was going to do, insanely well, and it was just like a dud.
Yeah.
And then I think the best example I always point to is the first songs, the computer song that really took off, the RNC one. Like I literally did that in a few hours.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with John, like, I think this might be the dumbest thing I've ever done. And he was like, I'll be honest, I don't really get it, but what is it? Who cares? What is it?
Yeah,
what is it?
yeah.
Like he had no idea who Dan Bongino was. It was just like, I don't get it, but yeah like whatever. But then you're like, yes, a few months earlier, that was during the pandemic. I worked on a Tiger King song for Netflix, and Tiger King was like the biggest thing. Yeah. And I thought it was like really funny. Like it was kind of similar to what I did for Super Deluxe, so I'd like take clips and repurpose them. And like I just turned his stupid quotes into a song.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
had Becky sing on it. John played horns, and it was like a spoof on Lion King. Like, just can't wait to be king.
Yeah.
And it just did nothing at all. And like I was like so certain, like, oh, this is gonna be breakout.
This
like,
is definitely the one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think it's funny how just in outside of social media in general life that seems to, be kind of an exact opposite thing where like if the stuff that I'm like a big heavy performance, or like playing, learning all of your songs, something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like it takes all this effort. If I half-assed it, or that's when I really screw it up, and it's like this opposite world, and that you have to kind of pay attention to in social media, where it's like sometimes less is more, and it feels like it's more authentic, but in reality, it's all of these hours and hours of rehearsal and stuff like that you have to put.
Yeah, no doubt.
In order to make it feel, in order to even be able to have the ability to do something on accident, or do something that like. I mean, the amount of work you put into playing and writing stuff before you even come down with an idea like RNC.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though it seems like a silly or a simple idea on its front, has a ton of, it's a big iceberg,
Yeah, no doubt.
I find myself beating myself up for that sometimes.
Really?
I don't know. I was thinking about this too. As I was thinking this more, I was kind of going through a couple of things that I want to make sure that I get, points that I wanted to hit with Nick, or with Big Nick. Sorry.
Big Nick, thank you.
You get the post-show like blues. Do you get post-show blues outside of like, I know it's different because we just came back from tour. But,
Yeah.
But not necessarily tour shows, but you get that like post-adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you? Does it take hours, days, weeks? What does it do?
I definitely do and have. I didn't really get a chance to with this run. I think because like I just genuinely really enjoyed the company of everyone that I was with. So it's like, and it's just so much work. Okay, like every day it's like we got to get to the city. Like almost every day was a travel day. So it's like we're fighting traffic. We're trying to get there. And then it's like, okay, we have this short window of time to load everything in, get merch set up, get sound set up, do a sound check. Now we have like 20 seconds to figure out what are we going to eat for dinner? How are we going to eat that? What, like, is the green room stocked? Who can we get to figure this out and get that handled? Now we're doing VIP. Now Randy's up. It's just like go until the second we're done.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like, okay, now we can have fun for, well, after we load everything back in and figure out where we're going next. But like, I wasn't ever really feeling it on the road. I feel like I do remember feeling it pretty heavy when we did our first shows post-pandemic. We did 2 nights in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And but I also got COVID, so like I was feeling
it could be COVID.
yeah, exactly. But I really haven't had a chance to feel it here at home because it was right back, like 2 young kids, like multiple jobs that like I'm catching up on. Like I just haven't had a minute to kind of slow down and really like experience that. And it's also like, okay, this is phase 1 of a bigger operation going out west, and now it's kind of like trying to get into that mode. So I will say, like, yes, definitely that is something I have dealt with forever, especially when I was younger, man. And you do, like, we play in these big shows like Nightfall, where it's like there's a parade and there's like like giant puppets, and there's like and you put everything into it, and then it happens, and then it's over, and it's like, now what?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Especially then when it was like, I think I have a lot more knowledge of how things work, but I think back then I was hoping like if I put everything into this one show, the next morning I'm going to wake up to a call from the big time. They're like,
Mister.
come on up. You made it. Yeah. But like realizing that never happens. It's just like, it's not, you don't do one big thing that changes everything. It's just like every opportunity, every experience, every show, whatever, just like is a chance for you to like hone your craft and get better. And it informs everything you do moving forward. Like, I think like approaching it that way has been way more satisfying than putting all the eggs in the basket of like, if we do this one thing.
Well, I think too, it gives you like in the reality is you do level up in minimum, like you level up a little bit at a time, you know?
Right.
And even those big jumps where somebody levels up in a hurry is usually based on
years and years. Exactly.
You know
I mean, it's a trope at this point, but they say that every overnight success is 10 years in the making, which is like so true.
Yeah. It is funny how much that it's a misnomer. I mean, it's just like it's a complete fallacy that so many people buy into that, you know, that is the way music happens, or that is the way you become successful in whatever your art that you're pursuing is by some big grand gesture where everyone else recognizes and then all of a sudden places you on some pedestal.
Totally.
But neither one of the Warner brothers ever call, you know? That's just not the way
they
it
just
works.
persecute. That's it, man. They just crack that whip harder. That's all they do. 100%. And it seems to be that way with most things. Like, you know, like Jakey's doing film. Like it's also like, and you know, like we do lots of video like content and stuff, and it's like I saw it's kind of have you heard of this Nirvana the show, the band Nirvana the band, the show, the movie that just came out?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it yet.
I rented it and watched it last night and loved it. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
But the director and the star Matt Johnson, he had a clip where he was talking about how like everybody is obsessed with making a great film. Like if I can just make a great film, like everyone will know how great I am. And it's like when really the approach is like if I make great things consistently, I will become the maker of great films. And like I feel like I'm very lucky because I've always had like I had the mentality like since high school. I actually did record a couple records in high school, and they're very difficult for me to go back and listen to. But like at the time, I was so desperate for like a label to like sign us and like put us in front of everybody. And like in retrospect, I'm like, thank God I had the opportunity to like develop my craft in obscurity where I wasn't under a microscope. But I didn't feel that then. I felt like I was God's gift to earth, and everyone should be enjoying this. You know, that's something I try to keep in mind, and like, you know, everything I do is like it being like, you know, man, it's the journey, not the end result. You know, like.
It's so funny how much of I like constantly have to remind myself of that same thing. It feels like it's natural to just go back to being like, I need this, I want this, thing to happen for my art to be a thing.
Right.
But in reality, the more often that I do focus on the pillars and the bases that make banjo playing and bluegrass music what I want it to be, the more often I focus on those, the more satisfied I am with the music, even that I'm performing, you know, like out with you guys or out with out on my own, whatever.
Totally, yeah.
But it feels like to me like, I don't know, maybe it's human nature to just go back and be like, but it seems like it's when I start getting lazy or if I don't hit those foundational things constantly that I get right back into, wow, why is this not happening to me?
Exactly.
This, or you start comparing yourself to other people, which is the worst possible thing you can do.
Totally. Which we've talked about a lot, how like your experience with IBMA and being around many, trying to think of the word to say this, very like veterans in the industry,
like
and
influential.
Like, no matter how high up you go, like everyone kind of has a feeling of like, but I never reached the top. Everyone's definition of the top is very different.
It is funny how much how often that is the case.
Yeah, when you're around those guys, like you're gonna judge. You know, I'm sure George Harrison, as he's like watching Lennon and McCartney write hit after hit, he probably feels like he never, and like,
and it's George Harrison. I mean, one of the greatest songwriters in all of American history.
Yeah.
I wonder if we just put that onto him ourselves, or if he really did feel that way.
Right. Yeah, totally. Could make it up. You might want to go back and plug in world over American on account of he wasn't American.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good thing about
Let's take it back. Just say one of the all-time greatest songwriters in world history.
Yeah.
Or Liverpool history.
We're getting into specifics now.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely up there in Liverpool history. You can't deny it.
Definitely crushes most Liverpool songwriters.
Yeah, Liverpudlians.
I wonder what I mean, like, you put yourself into those guys' like shoes when that happened for them. I mean, you're talking about the exact opposite of what we're just talking about. Did they just go from, hey, we're trying?
That was a different world. Yeah, I mean, they literally were the first to do it. Like that had never happened before.
Yeah, like I wonder though too, like their first band though, like when they're playing around the docks or whatever. And, and they're like in that rock and roll band. Like I hope that feeling of them or that they had is the same feeling I have when I'm like, I have a podcast,
Yeah. What is this for? Why are we doing this? Yeah.
Because I think kind of every great thing, even though that thing blew up right away, that thing started.
Sure. No, yeah, they I mean, they had like a what do you call that when you just play the same place, like residency in Hamburg, and they were so tight because they would just play every night for like hours and hours. They talk about paying your dues. Like I think a lot of people don't realize how much, like you said, like they were like a like legit band, like rock band for, and that was the foundation that they were able to build upon after they had this explosive success. But you got it. Like a lot of people like just kind of like are like, I feel like growing up more so, like I think you've weeded out at our ages, even though we're, there's a gap. You've weeded out all the people that are in it for reasons other than the craft and developing a career or whatever. But like early on, like you have friends that get in bands, like the first thing they do are make T-shirts and stickers, and it's like they haven't written a song yet, but the branding is on point. And but it's got to start with,
how big of a Beatles fan?
Oh, pretty massive. They were one of my first favorite bands, probably in like high school.
Yeah,
and I'll like go through seasons where like I really dig into their stuff, and then it's like you forget. But I'm like that with all my favorite bands, where it's like I love them all. Like Neil Young was also one of my favorite, and I hadn't really listened to him, and I put on one of his records on the drive home from Providence that I never really listened to, and it's like, man. So I have a lot of like the Beatles, Bob Dylan, Neil Young, Paul Simon. Like a little later, I got more into like Tom Waits and like Leonard Cohen. And I guess like in college, or actually really one of my first earliest favorite bands was Primus. Like in like college, I got into like Ween, and I went through like a very brief Fish period in college.
We all go through it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of, I know you didn't ask me to list every artist I like, but that's a good
all
start.
Right.
Yeah,
that's all right. No, that's a good. So I was one there. The Beatles just didn't connect to me until I was a little bit older.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's not that I didn't like it or anything. It was just.
Yeah. What's funny to me about the Beatles, man, is I feel like in high school, I really fell in love with like Rubber Soul, which is like 1964, which was kind of like their. I would say it was like a folk record essentially, and everything past then, like because Revolver was after that, and that was like their first, like that was a response to Pet Sounds. I might be getting it backwards. I think Pet Sounds was a response to Rubber Soul, and Revolver's response to Pet Sounds. Which Beach Boys is another one that's way up there. But like I was listening for like all of this like innovation and like all these big breakthroughs and like. The technology and like the approach to songwriting, and I never really gave those early albums. Like I kind of thought that those were like the poppier like bubblegum, but like it's funny that like within the last like decade or whatever, like I went back and revisited and realized like that's actually some of the best stuff. Like just because that's them like I said, right on the heels of like just being like a really incredible tight band.
Yeah.
And like just writing like these like incredibly tight, like poppy, like, you know, like iconic songs, like every one of them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's all like really impressive stuff. But I think when I was a kid, like, it's like, I'm thinking like, oh, that's like boy band stuff. Like, that's, you know, like they hadn't leveled up at that point when it's like, nah, man, they came out the gate blazing.
I think it's that same attitude is the reason why I kind of didn't get into them until it was a little bit later. Because they were really popular when I was in high school. Like they hit a big phase, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so I liked John Lennon and liked some of his stuff before, but then I don't know, I just kind of got out of it. So all of a sudden I was into the Allman Brothers and the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, right.
Went that way.
I hear you.
But it is funny how much, I mean, I have a 16-year-old now. He wears Beatles socks. He's got Beatles posters all over the wall. He knows all kinds of stuff. And I mean, I can't think of any really, like any, maybe Elvis. That's just that iconic that
totally.
has lasted this long from that generation. You know, I mean, seems like you end up with like one artist that represents an entire movement as you get further and further along. You know, like there's like jazz is now splitting into. There's like one guy who's the
right, exactly. But like, who is the last example? Like, what do like? That's the thing is like. I feel like you can go through and you can find like, you know, there's Elvis, there's the Beatles, there's Led Zeppelin, there's Pink Floyd, there's, you know, you can find all these guys from all, but I like, it's just we're too close to like the last 20 years. Like I know Charlie loves the Strokes.
Yeah, like Charlie loves the Strokes.
That's one that I think will, but like Pat, was it 2001? Like I think Radiohead is probably a little earlier, but like getting past that, like what is there? Like what do you point to?
Well, I mean, OK Computer. Well, that was mind blowing for years. Honestly, like just so many things changed out of that album. My opinion.
Yeah.
So I think Radiohead's definitely going to be one. I do kind of think the Strokes, but I am kind of close to it because Charlie's just such a huge fan. So it could just be.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Well, I think the thing that is kind of undeniable about the Strokes is like it was one of the last times in rock where like I feel like you could see like an actual like reaction in like the culture, like it changed how rock bands sounded from that point forward. Like and that's something I feel like I can't point to since then. Yeah,
it's a great attitude too. You know, just if you don't like it, well, whatever. This is it, dude.
Right.
And it seems like this day and age, because of the expansion of music, everybody has to be like, please listen to me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Please. That it is like that attitude of being like, I don't care if you listen to. I got models all over me. You know, we got models all over the place, so it doesn't matter if you want to listen. Cool. If not, no worries. I love that attitude. I know a couple of like country, alt singer-songwriters who have kind of adopted that attitude in some of their playing.
Oh yeah.
And man, it just works so well. It really works well with like a good female singer-songwriter. Who just has that attitude. It's great.
So I want to ask you, I kind of was trying to think about doing this run. Like I was trying to think of like day by day and try to think if there was anything that stood out, like from like getting in the van to like coming home.
Mm-hmm.
Before I ask about that, I'm curious, like, do you want to talk at all about like your mindset coming into this thing and asking to do this thing? I feel like to set the stage a little bit, this is our third. Really, we did a tour in 2023. It's very similar dates.
Yeah.
We ended up hitting without Randy, just with the 100K band. We did same start and out of order. It was like New York, Philly, DC, and then I think we ended in Chicago, and we did Cleveland somewhere in there as well. But one of the big like pains of that tour was like trying to find a local opener every single night. And we would do these VIP meet and greets, which are awesome, and they really make like that's really the only reason we're able to, like, it makes the tour more financially, it makes it to where we're not in the red. But it's like, it's the same thing I already talked about, where it's like you're hustling to get to these cities, you're setting up for a sound check in a very small amount of time, and then you have to have a whole other band come in, do a sound check, and then you got to strike all their stuff for your VIP set, and then you got to strike all that again and get the opener back. So it was like this dance that was just like incredibly stressful, and it was killing the sound guys. And so like a big part of the appeal, like there was, you know, two birds, one stone here is like, or really a lot of birds to kill here. But a big one was like having a singer-songwriter that literally just can come up with, you know, either a guitar and a banjo, your case, and just like not have all that turnover. And then add the element of like, you're already playing with us. So really our sound check is
done.
Exactly. Yeah. Done, like it's like you've already got a line check. You're already up there. But then it was also like looking at like with the last tours, John was playing, in addition to playing saxophone, he was playing xylophone and keyboards. And, which, you know, what kind of like stemmed from Jacob. When Jacob was in the band, he played xylophone on all the sword stuff. And like, in a lot of songs, the computer was written when Jacob was still in the band, so I was adding xylophone. So there's like a lot of, but then this new record ends, there's like no xylophone on it. So like it was kind of like we're taking out that element. I feel like these songs are just more organic, and so like I was wanting to lean less on like loops and like, so it was like, and a lot of the songs like I layer guitars and stuff, so it was like it just made sense to bring in someone that could play and could sing. And just like I feel like your voice really, even though like, you know, your main focus is bluegrass, like the timbre of your voice is in a register that like is like right above mine, whereas Eric's is right below. And I just feel like our vocals like mesh really well. And other than that, man, it was just like we've done enough stuff together to know like this is just gonna be fun. Like, and you'll be easy, you know, and like which was proven very, you know.
I had a great time.
It was good stuff. But anyways, just kind of setting the stage for how we landed on Big Nick Big Tour featuring Randy Steele.
Well, I think, do you think not having the local opener, do you think that affected ticket sales at all?
So we talked about this a little bit, and we sold less tickets than we had in previous runs. But the world is different. You know what I mean? Like, like, you know, there's like, maybe it did, but I could also point to just the state of the world and, you know, or the state that like that last tour was right after I'd released Songs of the Computer, which was like kind of a moment in my career. And like ends is like a thing that's like, you know, like this incredible moment with like the people who are already like invested, but it hasn't really like when I released Swords, like you go on my Spotify and it's like 8 out of the 10 top songs are all from Swords. But like when that album came out, for like the first 2 years at least, like no one was listening to that record. And who knows, maybe Ends will have that moment, maybe it won't, but like it does have like the people who are already all in, like have turned, like the Kickstarter alone was like a testament to how,
for sure,
you know, like, but like that said, like it wasn't something that grew the tent. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. It was bringing in the people that are already like invested. It wasn't a big like, come on, come all. Like So like that could be an explanation for why, you know, tickets. There was a dip, but like the thing that I really loved about this run is we played Union Stage and we played the Foundry, which we'd played before. But the new venues, I specifically requested we did some smaller rooms. I kind of am at the point where, like, just to backtrack a little bit, like we came out of the gate in the pandemic and booked this show in Chicago at Shuba's, which was like a 200 capacity room, which is like probably where we should have been. But it sold out like immediately, and we added a second show and it sold out. And then we went to the Lincoln Hall and it sold out. So it's like we're playing 500 capacity room and it sold out, and that kind of put us in the headspace of like, oh, we're a 500 capacity band room. But really, I think it was like, I remember being at the merch booth and meeting people like that came from all over the world. Like it was really like, it was like, and all of them had the same thing to say. A lot of people were like, you're stuff like got me through one of the darkest times of my life. Like I was isolated, and I was always looking forward to your videos, and like I think it like had a really strong urge for people to come to this show and experience it, which was incredible. But it really kind of tainted something, because it was like, oh, we can go to Chicago and play for 500 anytime.
Yeah.
When really it's probably, we probably have 200 people in Chicago. I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but then you have a lot of people traveling. And when you spread it out across multiple cities, then, you know what I mean? You don't
There's
get
no
that
reason to travel.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you're coming close.
For sure. So I think we're back to, like, Mercury Lounge felt like the perfect side. Like that room was
I thought
packed.
that was great.
Yeah, and even Sonia in Boston, and all the rooms felt great. There wasn't a single night where I got up there and was like, man, this feels like, we didn't.
Even the last night, which I know is something we were worried about because it was such a big capacity.
Right. And we sold half the tickets in that. Providence, we'd sold half the tickets and it was double the capacity, but it was wider rather than deeper.
Yeah.
So I didn't really feel it that much, even though it was half the capacity. But,
I agree. I actually kind of thought it was nice that there was a place for people to sit down, because that was the first place
for sure. Yeah.
But I knew they wouldn't be. I knew they wouldn't want to be sitting in mine. I knew they wouldn't be sitting.
I had some sitters, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see any. I thought. I
think they all got up.
I think most of them got up. One of the things that I do think is interesting is the VIP setup. It's something that you don't see a lot of bands do. And this was one of the things that I thought about this morning. I was like, I really wanted to make sure to bring this point out, or at least discuss it with you. So for the VIP meet and greet, what happens is basically we do a sound check for a specific group of people, and you pay an extra 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever it is for the tickets to come to the meet and greet beforehand. And I hadn't really seen very many bands do this before, but man, it makes so much sense. I mean, you're there, you have time to kill, you have people that want to come. It actually puts people in the venue early, so they're actually spending money at the venue. They're buying dinner there,
right.
You know what I mean, or they're buying drinks there after the meet and greet.
For sure, yeah.
So what Nick does is it'll either go, one will go first or one will go second.
We kind of switched it halfway through.
Yeah, he'll either meet with people and kind of have a little, basically like a line, everybody will come through and meet him one at a time, and then we'll play a 2 or 3 song set, or the other way around, we'll do a 2 or 3 song set, and then Nick will go over to the merch booth, and everybody kind of comes through. One of the things that I thought was very, very interesting is that I saw the same people go through in multiple cities. Like, I know that we had some people who went through everything, but there were some folks who would only come to 2 cities, but they were still like, they went through the VIP thing one, and then they came back through.
Right. Yeah.
Juxtapose that with a comment that I'd heard made on our last podcast, which was made by Nick Lutsko fan, which was, the comment was basically like, I don't even want to go to shows unless I know I'm going to be able to talk to the artist at least a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's, both of those things are not something that I was used to.
That's a new concept. Yeah.
Definitely
new
concept for me. And seeing it play out, is that something that you like maybe borrow from somebody else, or is that something that you have thought about on your own? Because you're the first person I've seen do it.
Well, when we did that, I think a lot of bands are doing it. It's funny because a lot of bands actually get hell for it. I think the bands that get a lot of negative attention for it are bands that are like at the top of their game. Mm-hmm. They're already selling like a lot of money for their tickets, and then they're selling even more and also I think their like VIP stuff is a lot less VIP than what we're doing.
Yeah.
But like the level at which we're doing it, like it's the difference between like making it to where we're able to make a little bit of money versus not making any at all. Whereas like that's not the case with people who are at like the very top of their game. But where it came from, we did those 2 nights in Chicago, and like I said, like both nights I go to the merch booth. There were lines like around the whole venue. Like it was just like everyone that came to the show wanted to come and tell me something. Yeah, and it was really humbling and incredible. I mean, in retrospect, it was probably like one of the biggest super spreaders I've ever attended in my life. But I met all these people, and like, I do feel like it kind of set a precedent. Like you go see Nick, you come, like he'll make the time to like say hello and take a picture at the merch booth, whatever. But as we kept going, like for those 2 shows, it was kind of like we were doing back-to-back nights. So it was like there was no rush to get out of there because we left all our equipment up. We were coming back the next night or whatever. But like what we learned as we started booking more shows, most venues have hard curfews. Like we're going to stop paying our staff at this time, so you need to be all the way out at this time. Yeah. So we started getting charged for doing the merch booth thing after the show, and they're basically like, if you want to do this, we're going to have to charge you like a few $100 or something like that. Yeah. So like they were the ones that suggested we do like VIP options like before the show, and that's why we started doing that. And I think I was lucky though. This like every venue this run was pretty cool about me still. And again, the lines are shorter because people come to the VIP, but I still was able to get to the merch booth and say hello to pretty much anyone that wanted to. It wasn't like I was like, all right, doors are closed and I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
But like the difference with VIP is like people get to kind of like take their time.
Yeah.
And
they get that private show too.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is really fun because we're playing songs that aren't in the main set. Sometimes for better and for worse.
Yeah.
It's funny because sometimes you get these happy, like, I'm so glad someone requested this song because like that should be in the set. And other times it's like, there's a reason we haven't played this song in 4 years.
Heard this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and now I'll punish you with it. Like I felt that a few times.
I had moments on tour. I mean, I felt like all the opening stuff I was really excited about. All that stuff I felt like I did pretty well for all of that.
Yeah.
But that was also kind of like in my wheelhouse. There's some things that I wanted to do that I don't think I just never really got the guts to pull off or try. You know?
For your set?
For my opening set. But I think that there's time. I still have time. I think I'm just kind of honing a certain part of that, like the time in between the songs and like the talking and all that stuff that happens in between the songs. Is something I've really been trying to focus on in the last year.
Yeah. It shows, man. I mean, sorry to interrupt, but that was like one of the main things, like, because we're backstage almost every night and we come out and kind of watch it pockets, but like, it was like, man, this crowd is loving this. Like I could tell, even though I couldn't even make out what you were saying, I could just tell that the crowd was really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I could tell that you'd really worked on it, because I feel like so often I will like say something to crickets, like more often than not, and I just never heard that for you. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. But I didn't feel that way. But I think that's another thing that I really learned. It was really fun being on stage, on side stage, and watching the crowd watch you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you definitely command, and I don't want to get into a big, like, let's blow each other up here. But, you command attention on stage, which is really, really cool. Like, everybody focuses, like, they're dead locked onto you. You know what I mean? Like, there's times where you see people pull around, or John does something that peels the attention away for a short minute. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or when he's doing his thing, people are kind of focused on him, but half of the crowd is still watching your reaction. That's your reactions to everything that's happening on stage is really fun. It's a really fun for them to watch, right?
It's cool.
Which I think that's really cool. That's something I hadn't seen on stage.
For sure.
Like, just be able to command that level of attention is really cool.
Well, it's something that I've never picked up on, but I think it makes sense, because I think, like, even though, like, this is a band, like, it's a band project, like, it's like a lot of the people there, unless like they're really invested and have been following along and have come to multiple shows, they're probably only familiar with me. Yeah. Exactly. And they're not used to seeing. But I love that, like, I think the show is a great introduction to, like, the dynamics and everyone in the band. Like, I don't know. I like, especially like John. It's funny because, like, we do this, we had this bit worked out where he has 60 seconds on the clock of bebop. And I don't think we ever did it the same way twice the whole time. No. Like, it kind of like changed up. And like by the end, it was like, dude, people love it so much, we're just going to let you do it. Like, just do it the whole time. Like, And I think the takeaway was like, this probably works in smaller doses.
Yeah.
it's like
well, yeah. You got to go over the threshold to find out where the threshold is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. He's having that whole lot. I think that's a part of it too. Like, is that there is more than just a music show going on. There is. I think one of the elements that I noticed from watching the crowd a lot is there's a lot of. We start playing Normal Man, and you see the boyfriend hit his girlfriend. This This is the song I was telling you about.
I see.
You know what I mean?
That's funny. Yeah.
You see a lot of that. I noticed it. Now, it could just be because of my side of the stage. I just seem to catch a lot of couples on my side of the stage.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, nobody. Like, I don't know if you noticed or not, but like, women don't want to be by John's side of the stage. Like, they want to be on the other side. So all the couples and all the ladies and stuff are
they're on your side?
On the other side. Yeah, they're on mine and Eric's side because it's just, I don't know, that side is not appealing maybe.
Yeah. I get. Well, Eric wasn't wearing
that is true.
He had some hair coming out, and that might have been something.
That could have been part of it too.
I had people reach out about Eric's sex appeal on the tour. I'm not even joking. I'm not joking. I swear to God, I had someone reach out and said, my girlfriend found Eric strangely sexy.
Nice.
I should read it.
Strangely.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Anyways, yeah, I got that message. I need to relate to Eric.
But I mean, I think all in all, for me going from a bluegrass setting, I think even changing from, I've been doing nothing but bluegrass bands for basically last 5 or 6 years now. So even when we were in here and doing rehearsals, I mentioned to you, it's like, man, this is awesome. It's been so long since I've just jammed out with a band. So it was really fun to do that on stage.
Right, for sure, man. I guess that's the question I was eventually trying to get to is like when I first reached out and was like, hey man, I want you to do this thing, and like half of it is going to be what you do all the time. I know you don't do the singer-songwriter thing all the time, but you've done it a lot. Yeah. And this other thing is very new, where it's like you're like, how many bands have you been in where you weren't a principal songwriter or lead singer? Have you been at more?
A few. I mean, very few. I can't honestly. Only sitting in as banjo players. I don't think ever in anything where I did multiple rehearsals and we were actually doing shows from beginning to the end. It was typically just. We need a banjo player for 3 songs or 2 songs for this one thing.
For sure, yeah.
That's the extent of where my, when it comes to being in that role.
Right.
It did take a little bit of adjustment. I think
I'm sure, yeah.
The big adjustment really wasn't. I think the big adjustment for me was vocally trying to get fit within the harmony as opposed to leading harmony, which is what I've been used to doing.
Right.
And so there are
for sure.
That's just an adjustment that I've had to make, like kind of here. But
I've literally never done that. I know you've at least sang in choir and stuff. So like, that's one of those things. Like, I'm not sure I'd be able to. I've literally never done it. And it's funny you switch it like there are a couple songs, Sick for example, which I've had multiple people come up and say that was the best version we've ever done of it. I've told you this, but I accidentally taught you my
your
lead vocal part.
Yeah,
so like every night I'm like kind of like trying to remember, even though I recorded the 3 parts, like I know what they are, but it's like it's very like I got to really focus to find. That thing.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. I know, and I think my favorite part about that is that I'm not willing to give that part back to you.
Yeah, man. I begged, man. I pleaded.
You gave it up, and I'm like, nah,
I threatened to throw you off the tour. I was like, dude, you're going to have to get an Uber.
Part. Yeah, you're going to have to come up with something else.
Yeah, we figured it out.
The idea and the aspect are, because I know, like, just as a quick backstory, Nick has stretch goals that he's achieved throughout his raising money for the Ends double album, and one of those stretch goals was to do a bluegrass album version of Ends, and one of the stretch goals is to East Coast tour or West Coast tour. Doing
too many stretch goals, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of stretch goals.
Hey, but we got to check on one of them now. Yeah, there we go.
One. And I feel like we got a pretty good handle on another one, even though I haven't really showed you all I really have worked out for the bluegrass.
Stuff. I'm excited. Yeah, no, I'm feeling. I mean, I don't know when we're putting this out or even how we're putting this out, but we've got a bluegrass set literally planned the May 30th. So like that's a good
that'll be
pushing the birds
weeks.
out the nest.
You got some friends in Florida in a couple of weeks.
Gainesville,
send
May
them
30th.
May 30th. As that, I kind of in the same thing. Like when you come, it's kind of the same question to you. And backwards, like, is there expectations you feel that you're like, I don't really know, or maybe not expectations. Let me say, are there fears of changing stuff into a different format that you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, or do you feel like 100% confident that
it came from a place? The only reason like it was there, well, number one, it was the $100,000 stretch goal, which I never dreamed I was going to hit, but like I secretly was really hoping it would because I knew how much fun it'd be, and it came from the celebration of country music, which was really all bluegrass stuff, but that we did in, what was it, 2022? Mm-hmm. So at this point, that was 4 years ago, but that was like so fun. And like, I remember lots of people being like, dude, you got to tour with this iteration. And I've always wanted an excuse to do, I mean, my first like solo record that I put out in 2013 was like a folk, and it was just because I had a cheap version of Pro Tools, only had like 10 tracks.
Yeah.
But it was like acoustic guitar, banjo, mandolin, like none like in like the proper like instrumentation setup. But like I've always loved that and been into it. And like I've always like I love all kinds of different things. And this is just an opportunity to do something that I've always wanted to do. But there is a feeling of like, I know for a fact that some songs are going to work better than others. Yeah. And some are going to be, but I also think that's really exciting. It's like, okay, if this one doesn't seem as obvious and like we can't, like, let's get creative with it. Like maybe we can kind of like rearrange this thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like the version, there's no reason to just do like a repeat of the version with exactly. Like we can like, play around with it. Mm-hmm. And that's exciting to me. It's just, there's never enough. There's always more time than you think there is to work on it. Like because we're trying to record. At one point it was an album of your songs, and now we've done 2 singles that are like pretty much done. One's come out, the other one's coming out soon, I think. Yeah. We have like a backlog of some other ones, but it's like everything always ends up taking longer than you hope, and it's just because we have so much stuff going on. Like if we really were like, hey, let's make this priority and we want to have this done by this date, we could do it. Just neither one of us has gotten to the point where we're hey, we need to. Done, exactly. But it's a good thing, I think, that we have. I agree. Yeah. So many things that we're excited to work on that it's But I'm super excited about that, and I think I told you like. It's the same thing with West Coast and this bluegrass thing. Is both of them. It's like I can't really think about them until we get on the other side of this East Coast run, and now we're on the other side. So I'm really excited to kind of dive in. I think
push forward,
yeah, and